Welcome, 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 my friends, to another edition of More Bad News, brought to you as always by Camel Cigarettes. Take the Camel's Challenge, smoke Camels for 30 days and see for yourself what a difference Camels can make in your life. Well, my friends, this week has been a week of very bad news for us personally. Without mentioning any names, a grandchild without any thought for his parents or grandparents, just transferred a virus to us all. And it's the first virus that we've had in 3 years. And it was no joke because the symptoms are similar to this current iteration of COVID. And so we went out among the humans to seek COVID testing. And it was interesting to see because when I called and said, I'm a 76-year-old man and I have a viral infection and the symptoms are similar to those of COVID. I'd like to be tested, like to see a doctor. They said that there was no available resources in my area. I should go to the walk-in. So, okay, so that's it. That's the state of care. But we did manage to get a COVID testing. And interestingly enough, no one was wearing a mask. So you walk in with a virus, which you are concerned it might be COVID-19, and the person who is there in this little room, it's very difficult to understand. Anyway, but there were multiple tests and they all came back negative. So it's a virus. It's just a virus, and the first one that we've had to endure for 3 years, and I can tell you, it has been very unpleasant. So as I say, the bad news continues, and it is always worse when it happens to be your body that's afflicted with the bad news, rather than just trying to report the suffering of others while you sit in comfort. So this is like from the field, as it were. At any rate, but there is other bad news. I always like to go to Science magazine for my bad news, and this is the shrinking lakes, and it turns out that global freshwater supplies are shrinking just everywhere. All the lake reservoirs in the world are shrinking. That's not good news. What can I tell you? Yes, it's not as bad as my stomach, but it's not good news, No. So this is Shavuot. Okay, it's a big holiday, so we've been celebrating this as best as we can, and we've made an effort here. So the Shavuot is one of 3 harvest festivals. Passover was the last one. That was like the barley harvest, and then this is the wheat harvest. And in September, October, there's Sukkot, which is another harvest. So there are 3 harvest festivals, and each of these has imposed upon it a story that is common to the tribes. And the story, Passover is the Exodus, Shavuot is the giving of the Torah, and we read the book of Ruth, which is a delightful pastoral story. It's a wonderful. There's no evil people in it. It's a really wonderful story. It's a polemic against Ezra and Nehemiah. It was written probably in I think the 5th century um, uh, uh, BCE, and uh, and uh, the Ezra and Nehemiah had demanded that the men divorce their non-Israelite wives. And this is a story about a non-Israelite woman of exemplary, and comes from the Moabites, and the Moabites are a hated tribe. But see, they have the Israelites and the Moabites. The Israelites and the Moabites were like two tribes that lived side by side and did not get along. They didn't like each other. And the Israelite um, story of Moabite origins was that the Moabites were the offspring of the incestual relationship between Lot and his daughter, and so they were the progeny. They were the progeny of incest, um, and so Ruth comes from this origin, and she then becomes the matriarch of the house of David, and of the by extension of the redemption of humankind. So it comes not from virgin birth, but from this incestuous relationship of Lot with his daughter. And the sages asked, what merit was there for them that they should merit this, that they should be the progenitors of salvation. Said, well, they thought that humanity was uh, completely destroyed, and it was up to them. Good deed. Come to think of it, I don't know. It sounds like just a bad news story. And yeah, so that's the story of Ruth, a wonderful little polemic that became incorporated into the canon. It's interesting that people think of the canon. The idea developed that there's one God, and the whole canon had to express one divine orientation to life, and it absolutely doesn't. The book that I'm reading right now, the book of Job, is clearly a dissenting intellectual, and who is writing a devastating critique of theodicy. So they're all different. But that's this week, Shavuot. I'm not sure that I can say much more. I think I'll just leave it there, and hopefully feel better, and next week come up with some more material. I do intend to get back to American history at some point, but I'm just not there yet. Okay, so have a good week, and we'll see you later.